Hi Booktube and happy September. I'm sitting down to talk about my plans for this month, and one of them is I would like to do a video a day for the month of September, mainly because one of the reading events this month is Shorty September. So with a focus on smaller books, I'm like, I should have more time to do some filming, so I'm going to make that a project of mine. And so speaking of Shorty September, I did a TBR for the nonfiction and fiction books, and they're all behind me here, so I'm not going to go into any detail on those, but they will be featured in my daily uploads. And there is a whole list of events that I've written down in my notebook, and I also wanted to mention that Bookmarking Life with Elizabeth, she has created a whole video on all of the readathons happening in September. So there's much more than I myself am participating in. There's like, I feel like there's at least like 20 or something. Because everyone's so excited. I feel like for fall, at the end of summer, beginning of fall, it's an exciting time here on BookTube. So yes, I wrote down all of the readathons I want to participate in. So I mentioned Shorty September, and then I also wanted to participate in Shaketember. Back when it was known as Shaketube, this is many years ago, I feel like. I feel like I participated in every single Shaketube or Shaketember event since it was invented, but I haven't always made it a point of sharing the books I've been reading, or sometimes I've been like not on BookTube at that time. I've had several hiatuses over the years, but all that to say, I wanted to do this Shaketember event coming in with a bang of wanting to read all of the books or the plays that are going to be focused on this month. Because last year, I know I read several Shakespeare plays, but I didn't talk about a single one of them. So I wanted to make a focus of that. So there are several hosts, and for this reading event, each week, the different hosts are going to make their own video based on what they've selected. So there are many different plays that, so I think, it's like 4 weekends, so each of them are going to do, whether it's talking about a play or a film. One of the videos was going to be about the theater. So there's many different iterations for the Shaketember event, but I'm going to be focused on reading the plays of all the different plays that they selected. In addition to that, I have one book on my shelf that I picked up, I think last Shaketember probably. I didn't get to it, but this is Hamlet by William Shakespeare, of course, and this is the manga classic edition, and it includes the full original text. So I really like these editions. I have several on my shelf, and I've read all of them except this one, and I just think it's a great way of reading the play, like I said, with the original text, but it's like, you're watching the movie, the film as well. So if you don't understand all of the ins and outs of what's going on, you have the artwork to help you. So I'll show some of that here. And so I've really enjoyed reading these. I wish they had one of these manga classics for each of the plays, but I have Romeo and Juliet, Macbeth, and Hamlet. They have, I think, some of the comedies as well. I just haven't found them. So I wanted to read this one in addition to all of the plays. And so I'm not going to go into any great detail, but I'm just going to show them to you. So there is King Lear, Pericles. I obviously have not read this one. I know nothing about this one. Richard II. Measure for Measure. Edward II. This one is Christopher Marlowe. One of the hosts is going to be, one of their weeks are going to be talking about, like the kind of like a companion in a way to Shakespeare. As You Like It. Julius Caesar. This one I remember reading way back when. It was like one of like the second Shaketube. I remember reading this one for the Shaketember event. And The Merchant for Venice. This is another one I've read for Shaketember way back when. But yeah, so some of these are rereads to me, but I feel like this also kind of will tie in with Shorty September, because they're all really quick plays, and like you can read them, I feel like, within a couple of hours at most. And so like, they're due for all these books that all the plays that some of these I've read, like they're completely readable, rereadable, and they're due for a reread. So looking forward to that. And then I'm also going to be participating in Series September. I haven't selected the books I want to read for this. I am going to see what I have on my shelf. There's a couple of books I have I'm in the middle of the series, and so that's my focus for Series September, is reading books I'm already in the middle of. And so I need to look back over the last couple of months to see, where I'm at with these different series, and I'm going to try and read, one book from each of those series and go from there. Because I'm not a huge series reader. So when I do, I typically, if I pick up a series, I will commit to it, and read it from start to finish, but not in the same month. But because I read so few series, it's easy for me to keep track. But all that to be said, I can't tell you off the top of my head all the different series in the middle, but I do know of some, but I just need to look back through and get that situated. And then Friend in September is the last readathon that I'm going to be participating in September. And for this, I want to draw as well, because I just got a simple composition notebook at the dollar store, and because I'm not an artist by no means, so I thought some like simple line paper will be fine, and like a pencil or a pen or whatever, because I have always struggled with art as a kid. It was never my favorite time in school. I don't know if I never had the patience for it, or just for me, like, for example, when I get this, like, open up a blank page, my mind freezes up. I'm like, what am I supposed to be drawing? So I thought, because I'm reading so many different books for this month, that each book I read, of that day, I will just make a drawing of whatever's on the cover that inspires me, and so that'll give me like a prompt to get through. So, for example, let me see. Pick one up. This is the nature book, but maybe like a lily pad in the grass, and maybe not the person. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that, but something like that. Or let me grab one up. Maybe the people on these covers are gonna be hard for me, but maybe like the teapot and the cup, different things like that will work. So I just thought that would be a good way to get me into somewhat of a practice of drawing, because I had this idea way back when, like last year, but I didn't get too far into it. So like maybe like filming a video a day and then drawing something a day and reading a book, I think that those are good habits to have. And I don't want to be I don't want to stress myself out over this, and I just want to be simple, easy, quick, like 10 minutes or so that way I don't get too frustrated or something like that. So those are my plans for September. Let me know what your plans are, and I hope everyone has a wonderful reading month, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks, Booktube.